check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Yes, sir. Give me a second. Let me hit this bud right quick and we can get into it. Alright, alright. So, this video is going to be, I want to talk about the astral realm. Alright. In the words of one of my favorite teachers, Panic, he would say, tell me something I can't read in a book. Alright. In the words of another favorite teacher of mine, Bobby Hemming, he would always say, as he would be doing these lectures, he would always say, you came here to hear something different. You didn't come for me just to keep telling you the same old stuff. You're supposed to hear something different that you ain't never heard before, right? So I'm keeping that in mind as I'm going to try to give certain things in this video that you haven't heard anywhere else. A lot of you probably would, because a lot of it is probably common knowledge as far as in the spiritual community. But there's probably be quite a bit that you're going to be like, okay. Anyway, I'm going to start with talking about astral projection. Astral projection is most commonly referred to as an outer body experience. Right? So, projecting your spirit or soul out of your physical body, right? Out into the atmosphere. When you go to learn about astral projection, you will hear a lot of people talk about how they woke up and their spirit is hovering over their physical body, as in they look down and they can literally see their physical body lying on the bed, asleep, right? I've experienced this as well. So some people do be telling the truth when they say it, but most are misunderstood. Most have a misunderstanding about what it is that's going on, right? So first of all, we talked about, okay, let's get a couple things out the way first. So, in the spiritual community, most have most of us have somewhat of a common understanding that God isn't out there somewhere, that God is within, right? That's something that you hear a lot in the conscious communities. God is within, the kingdom of heaven is within, right? You don't have to die to visit the spiritual world because all of that shit is within, right? The universe is mental, right? We have universes within us. These are things that you hear amongst conscious people. Cool, right? But the thing is when we start talking about astral projecting and astral traveling, the first thing people want to say or think is that this is a outer experience, right? But it's like, what happened to all the universe is within, that God is within, the kingdom of heaven is within, right? That was supposed to be all the church people and the religion folks that attribute God for being separate than us, right? And the spiritual world from being separate, and heaven and all of that shit is separate and ain't got nothing to do with us, right? We say, nah, all of that shit is us, it's within. So then how come as soon as we get to talking about astral projection and astral traveling, now the same conscious people are saying that this is an outer experience, right? It's coming all it just comes right back to that same religious mindset. Like, you can leave the church, but you didn't leave the mindset. Like, we still programmed with that same perspective, right? So let me say this, because I'm about to talk a lot about the astral world from my point of view, from my own experience, right? From my understanding, which may be a very limited one, but yet it's still my own understanding that derives directly from my own experiences. So when we talking about the astral realm per se, the astral realm is not a place. It's not a location. You are not, your spirit is not leaving your physical body and flying way out beyond the moon and stars to some place. Like, that's not what's going on. The astral realm refers to a frequency, all right, a level of consciousness that we can tap into, a level of consciousness that exists beyond our day-to-day reality. So it exists beyond our five physical senses. All right. So this is why a person who said they astral projected and they seen their own body laying on the bed, it's not that they're lying and it's not that they're wrong, but it's the interpretation of what they're actually experiencing. Remember, the subconscious or the spirit or the deep mind or the unconscious, whatever it is, this intelligence, remember, the language of the subconscious, the language of the mind is symbols. The deep mind communicates with the conscious mind or to the conscious mind, mostly with symbolism. So your deep mind will show you a picture, show you an image, because a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? The subconscious mind will show you one thing. What happens is, consciously, we take it literally, right? We take it literally. But the subconscious mind is speaking to you in symbols. So it's not about what it is that you see. It's more so about what does it mean. So whenever you see your body lying there in bed, asleep, that is the higher self telling you that you have access a level of your consciousness that is beyond that of your physical reality, beyond the five senses, beyond your day-to-day way of living. All right? That just saying that you're on a wave that's beyond John, Billy, Tony, Carissa. You can access a part of yourself that is that is above that. All right. So when you begin astral travel, I'll make a distinction between astral projection and astral traveling like this. I feel astral projection is pretty much speaking to the process of going beyond, the process of shifting beyond the five physical senses unto what we refer to as the astral level. All right. Astral traveling, I feel, is more about being active on the astral plane. All right. It's more about now you moving experiences. So the thing about when you in the astral that people, it took me a minute to get it, that people, the experiences that you have, it's all about you. So it's so you thinking these experiences because they're so cool and they're so spontaneous, and you will see and witness some amazing type shit that you think you're experiencing these things that are outside of you. And in all honesty, every experience all revolves around you. The revelations that you get, the things that your higher self are going to reveal to you, it's all it's all you. It's all about you. Like, you're not going to project, you're not going to go to the astral realm and experience anything that doesn't have anything to do with you, because this is your mind. All right. On the astral realm, your higher self, I'm going to say higher self just for the sake of argument, right? Some people might say this is your spirit guide. This is your holy guardian angel. These are your ancestors. This is God. This is the angel. This is your personal daemon. So much. Let's just say your higher self for the sake of argument. Your higher self becomes a lot more available to you on an astral level. Once the conscious mind, the ego takes a back seat, that higher part of you becomes way more active, right? The rapport that you can start to build with your higher self. You and your higher self are just seem a lot more closer, right? Not that you're ever separated, but through the Maya, through the thickness of physical reality, aka the ego, that demiurge, like, it's a thickness that is built between us being able to just tap in like that to our higher self in day-to-day life. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of got to go into these other realms when you get your conscious mind to take a back seat for a minute, right? When you get to astral traveling, this is when meditation really comes in play. Because meditation, why it's important to practice meditation and shit, because when you get to go on these when you get to falling off in these experiences and shit, remind you that your physical body is out the way, right? Your physical body ain't got nothing to do with this. So it's all about where are you mentally? You know what I'm saying? It's about the strength of your mind, right? How long can you remain focused without allowing your conscious mind to, without allowing your ego to take over the experience, right? And fuck it up. Basically, that's it. As soon as your ego take over, the experience is fucked up. In my in my opinion, it's best during, if you astral traveling, like for real astral traveling, it's best to try to allow your conscious mind to just be the observer for as long as you can, which probably won't be that long unless you got good control over your mind like that, which is probably you're only going to get to through meditating a lot. But I feel it's best if you could try to let your higher self do the heavy lifting, do the work, and try to just keep your ego at bay for as long as you can, right? Because eventually, I mean, you're going to get to asking questions. You're going to want to see this. You're going to want to do this. You're going to say, go here, go there, right? Eventually, the longer you stay there, like your ego is going to take over. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of just like you want the experience. You want to keep it short. You want to keep it short, sweet, and simple. Which is a paradox, because when you having these experiences, you want them to last longer. You know what I'm saying? You want to stay in the moment. You know what I'm saying? Because they be short experiences anyway. You know what I'm saying? So you're like, man, that's too short. You're going to want to stay in the moment. You're going to want to see more. You're going to want to know more. You're going to feel more. You know what I'm saying? Like, you probably, if you're like me, you're going to have 3,000 questions that you want to answer right then. You know what I'm saying? But it's best to keep it short and simple, because you have a much better chance of remembering the experience itself. All right. When you stretch it out too long, what happens is you just really just fall back in a deep sleep, and you wake up and you don't remember shit. And if you don't remember it, then did it happen? So, other things on the astral level. This is where you can communicate, contact your deceased loved ones. This is something that a lot of people ask or want to do, right? But it won't be how you think it would be. And everybody's experience is gonna be different. My experience is going to be uniquely for me, as your experience is going to be uniquely for you. But on the astral level, the more I don't know if it's the more conscious you become, or if it's the more, I don't know, it's something about it that makes your light shines bright and brighter. Um, I don't know if that's just the more your consciousness expands or what, but the brighter your light shines, the more these spirits see you, the more the more those old loved ones are going to come to you or try to. Um, the brighter your light shines. I haven't figured out exactly been able to pinpoint what brightens that light up, but yeah. So imagine walking down a dark street, right? And you see it's pitch black and there's just one house with the porch light on, right? You naturally gonna be drawn to that light, right? It's that light shining in the darkness. And and I don't know. I've had a lot of quite a few, now I almost say a lot of old either family, friends, sometimes not even friends. Like, and I ain't gonna go to say as far as say enemies, but like even people that I didn't have the best relationship, and we might have some friction in our relationship as far as when they was alive physically, right? But I've even had cases where some of them would still um approach or make some form of contact on the astral level. Um, I don't know. I feel like going down that rabbit hole right now. That's about to be 3 hours. So anyway, your loved ones though, on the astral level, not only can they see you, if they can see you, you can have, when you build that connection with your higher self, then you can have spirits be brought to you, as well as you can be taken to spirits. This is something I've done numerous times. I was always the person who liked to try shit. Like, I'm I'm skeptical as hell about a lot of things until I experience it for myself. This is one thing that I read when I was studying the book Astral Dynamics by Robert Bruce. I think that's his name. And he mentioned it in the book, just that, about on the astral level how you can be taken to spirits, and you can also request that spirits be brought to you. This I've put to the test numerous of times. Another thing is, another thing that is a misconception, contrary to popular belief, a person does not have to be dead for you to access their spirit. During the breakthrough one time, I had a homegirl that we was real close. She was into all of the spiritual shit. She used to teach me a lot of things actually. But when it came to astral traveling, like I was a bit more. That was more my thing than hers, right? But I remember I asked during the breakthrough, like I asked to be taken to her. Um, I asked to be taken to her during the experience, and it happened. And what it felt like was it'll put you in this frame of mind that when, like, Superman would snatch up somebody when he rescuing them and shit, and they shoot off and flying across the sky. Like it would put you in the mind of that. Like that's what I feel like. I'm scooped up and just I can feel the actual sensation of traveling. Now, am I actually traveling across the sky with this spirit taking me there? Anything is possible, but no. Remembering that the deep mind speaks through symbolism, right? This is symbolic of me traveling to this spirit and all that, because if once we break through, if time and space don't exist, then how the fuck could you have to travel outside your body way across? You know what I'm talking about? It's all symbolism. That's it. But anyway, and I was taken to my homegirl's spirit, or the aspect of a spirit, like as it relate to me though. It's kind of crazy trying to explain it. So I ain't gonna try to explain too much of that. But yeah, I fucking the first the first one that ever came to me was years ago, when I was kind of like first just tapping into some of this shit. That was my homeboy. It was when my homeboy, like he was my brother, like he was my dog, like for real, like my big homie. Like we used to have a little a rap group together, like shit. We was around each other every day and shit like that. He was the first person that it came to me. He came to me. It was years ago, and I was in the bed, and it was almost like it was during the sleep paralysis episode. But like I didn't astral project or no shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I was just up under that sleep paralysis at the time. And cause when you in the state of sleep paralysis, like that's that in between level. Like you right there at the door. Like literally all you gotta do is twist the knob and step through the door. Like you right there. You know what I'm saying? And I knew I was doing one of those episodes, and he came to me just like he chimed in my head. Like, so typically, like, I would hear my own, how people hear their own voice. You hear your own voice in your head, right? At least most people do. They say some don't. But anyway, where I would hear my own voice in my head, like at that point, like his voice popped up in my head. So like it's mine and his, right? So and this is how the dialogue start, and so we start talking and conversating just like that. But it wouldn't be a long experience, you know what I'm saying? Like, because like I said, I got 3,000 questions that I need answered right now. You know what I'm saying? So he checked out after a while. Then I knew another time, like right after that, like it wasn't long, I was like, man, let me see if that's a fluke. Like, was I tripping or did this shit really happen? So when I broke through the next time I called out and reached out to him in ways I have learned about a little bit and shit. And anyway, I have my questions answered. Like, this real deal. Like, I've talked to him again after that and shit. And like, not only him, you know what I'm saying? Like, my mom's passed. I done multiple times. Like, I done linked, talked, spoke, communicated with my mom's. Shit. It's really, once you on the astral level, and it's not the end all or be all because it's still part of the illusion, right? It's not like you get there and then you got the answers to everything and you see the world exactly how it is now. Like, no. Like, the astral world is still part of the illusion. It's a part of the fuckery. It's a part of the mind games. You know what I'm saying? But it's a level closer to what I don't know. But I would say it's a level closer to your authentic self, whatever that is, and wherever that even exists. I don't know. But yeah. Anyway, the astral world, I can kind of go on all day about it. I feel like I'm getting kind of tired now. Anything else I want to say before I go? You can communicate with your deceased loved ones. You can communicate. You're gonna bump in. You're gonna start getting involved with. If you astro traveling, like for real, then you're going to be involved with spirits. Just it's spirit realm. You know what I'm talking about? Like yeah. Your higher self will protect you. Will protect you. If you haven't done anything like to protect yourself as far as practicing this or that to build spiritual protection, which you should do. Definitely, you should be getting some protection lined up. But even without that, like the higher self is not going to just leave you hanging to hang you out to dry. So you have divine protection, most likely protection from yourself and wanting to experience things that you're not psychologically ready for. So it will help protect you. The access that you have, to that intuition that you feel in the physical world, you're much closer to it on the astral level. But yeah, I think we're gonna pretty much wrap it up. Yeah, let's leave it at that. Until the next one, we do a part 2 or something.